Less grumbling. In this video, we're going to go over how you can do a partial rollover, teaching your puppy to roll over onto its back. Now, I'm going to be using a little bit of shaping for this. Shaping is a concept we use in dog training when a dog is not able to do the full extent of the exercise, because usually there's multiple steps to it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to reward any sort of movement towards that end goal. In this case, what we want him to do is I'm going to want to get him on his back. You don't want to practice this exercise at a time where your dog is going to feel uncomfortable. If there's a kid that the dog doesn't particularly like, you don't want to have that kid in the room when you're practicing this particular exercise. Now, in order to do this, you're going to first need to be able to put your puppy into a down position. So let's go ahead and sit down. And the first stage is I want him to turn his head to the side. So I'm going to go, yes. So I want to eventually have him roll over on his side, but that's too much, so that's why we're shaping this. So I'm going to lure him to his head to the side, yes. And when he gets to the position I want, I'm marking and then I'm releasing the treat. What I'd like to see is him shift over onto his hips. So we're going to do this, and you can see he's almost got a little bit of a bend here, because that's why we're using this yes. Moving his head to the side to get his anatomy to move in the direction that we want. Let him finish chewing the treat. And I've now shifted and gotten him to lay on his side. Yes, I should have marked when he made that adjustment. So make sure you're using your marker word every time your dog does the thing you don't want that you want them to do. And again, it's not going to be the final act. It's steps towards it. Sit, down, up, sit, down. Keep that treat within an inch of their nose. Yes. And what you should see as you're doing this, it's easier for your dog to get to the next stage. Let's see if we can get a shift. Yes, there we go. So now I'm going to go again right away. I'm going to try to go his shoulder down. And that's too much for him, so I'm just going to shape him over here. Yes. You saw a little bit of that shift. Yes. And that movement of the paw is what we need to achieve. Yes. Yes. Not quite there yet. And if he needs to get up to go get a treat, that's fine. But the idea, this is probably going to take you several practice rounds to do. I don't know if I'll be able to achieve it. I just started doing this with him. Let's see. Sit. Sit. Down. Whoop. So I got a little greedy. Don't get greedy. Yes. You might, and you're going to ebb and flow. One day you might be able to get him on a shift on his side, and the next day all you can get him to turn his head. For the first couple of days, that's normal. So don't be concerned if that's the case. Yes. Now see how he's kind of bunched up a little bit. I'm going to ask him to come forward a little. Sit. There you go. Down. There we go. Yes. Yes. And you saw he started coiling. That's an indication he's about ready to get up. Yes. There we go. Yes. And as we're doing this, you're, like I said, going to notice you're going to be able to get him better and better. The next step is really to get this elbow tucked in a little bit. And you saw it just tucked a little bit there. That's why we use the shaping concept. Yes. See how the leg is coming up a little bit? Maybe we'll get to achieve this whole thing. Yes. And the idea for shaping is just a little bit more each time, and so the dog is comfortable and relaxed at doing it. Yes. And if he pushes back a little bit like that, then I'm probably getting a little bit greedy. Yes. Let's get you to lay your head on the floor. Yes. And so eventually, like I said, you'll get him on, so he's on his back. Now it's an unstable position, so you might have to support him a little bit. And then once you can do that consistently, then you're going to say belly or back or whatever the position that you want to use, yoga dog. And then you would say belly as you roll your puppy back, and then they expose that belly. This is, like I said, if you're going to teach your puppy how to go into different cues like the rollover cue, teach your puppy bang you're dead, these are the elements, the building blocks that you're going to use for it. But if you're going to teach your puppy those things, don't teach it to them first, or until you've achieved this one first. The idea for this one is we want to be able to lure our puppy over like in the back like that. Let's see if we can do it. There you go. Oh, look at that, belly. Well, I would say belly before I started, but now I can inspect my puppy's paws, and then I give him a treat after I inspect it a little bit. I can look at this paw, and then give him a treat afterwards. I can inspect his nether regions, and I can use this treat to manipulate him over a little bit. And I can check, does he have any fleas? Does he have any abrasions or whatever? And after the duration of time, then I give him a treat each time. So he's happy to go into this position because this is a vulnerable position, but every time it happens, I'm getting a treat. Now you see here his tail is tucked. We're going a little bit fast than I would typically like to do. This is a training video, but this is something that's probably going to take you 3 or 4 practice rounds. Also be aware of the floor. This is a kind of an unusual floor it's a dog daycare. At home, if you have hardwood floor and your puppy's sliding around, that might be something that they don't want to actually practice this exercise on. This is best to practice on carpet or grass, something that your puppy is going to feel nice and comfortable with. Well, this is my buddy Merle. Sit. Yes. And this is how you can start using the concept of shaping to get your puppy to roll over on its back and show you its belly. Quest, you are a goofball.